Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sporting160EN podcast. We have a big episode today. Not only are we the champions of winter, but we've also got some big news that you all have probably seen over the last week or so. But before we get into anything, let me introduce you to my co-hosts. First, we got the main man, Chris. How you doing today, man?
I am doing good. Very chill game today. Easy win. BSad in the fucking mud, man. Love to see it. Obviously, Campeões de Inverno, that's hype too. We, I guess, run that competition. MOE runs that competition. And yeah, content. We've got content. So a lot of shit to talk about.
Definitely. And my other co-host, Danny, man, how you doing today?
Feeling good, doing great. You know, I'm watching, missed the game today, but watching these highlights right now. Paulinho actually scored a tap-in? That's physically possible.
He scored a nice
goal, too.
He scored a nice header as well.
Haven't gone there yet, bro. No spoilers.
Okay.
Here now. No. Anyways, yeah, feeling great, man. Like you said, a bunch of two big arrivals. One that brings back fond memories. Another one that I'm hoping will bring back memories or bring memories in the future. And can't wait to discuss it with you boys. Let's get into it.
Yes, most definitely. And last but not least, I am your host as always. When I can find the tag, Sam. But yes, you mentioned deadline day and transfers, and that's what we're going to kick off with today. I think the biggest move we've got to talk about is probably Bruno Gaspar departing. You know, club legend. No, I'm joking. Yeah. But this all ties in to the move we will be talking about right now, and that's, of course, he made his debut today. I'm not sure if you got that far into the highlight video, Danny.
That's the very end. That's the very end. So 75th minute on.
Just saw the 3-1 right now.
Yeah, he made a debut to a standing ovation as well. Definitely wanted
standing ovation when he went to warm up too.
Nice.
He's got the English juice, you know. They love the English people up there. Apparently,
he's got the sauce.
Listen, let me just throw it out there. I pray I'm wrong, but this has the making of a classic Sporting signing. Let me just throw that out there. Everybody's hyped. But at the same time, I mean, Amorim's proved us wrong so far. You know, everybody was hyped for Sarabia, and so far he's delivered. So I hope I'm wrong.
I'm going to ignore the red flag of has produced a rap song with a music video.
Exactly.
In the past. Just going to look past it and just give him a pass. He's good. He's like
Damian Lillard.
Damian Lillard.
He's allowed. He's allowed
to pass too, bro. He's a pass too.
So in terms of overall, I've got the deal in front of me here. So Sporting paid 7.67 million euros for 50% of the pass, which can increase by a further 500,000 if some objectives are met. Bruno Gaspar goes to Guimarães, complete, no loan, just full transfer, getting a huge salary off the books, by the way. I think he was saying like 2 million. You correct me if I'm wrong, but it was 2 million.
Yeah, it was like 2.4 maybe, something like that. Yeah, it was high.
Yeah, and Jenny Catemo, if you can correct me on that, please do. On loan with an option to buy for 5 million, and they also have first refusal on Gonzalo Plata if he doesn't sign for Real Valladolid. But let me go for you, Chris, first. What are your overall thoughts about the move? What the financials? What do you think of them? And just tell me your overall thoughts of Marcus Edwards.
Honestly, the financials are not that bad. It's a deal in the framework of the style of the deals that we've been doing, for sure, which will bite us in the ass eventually. But I mean, there's no point in just hammering on about that because that's just like the style of business we do now. And honestly, it's crazy that Porto paid 9 million for 50% of Galeno, and we paid 7.5 million for 50% of Marcus Edwards. I
think Porto owns the other 50%, to be fair.
Really?
They
still got ripped off.
They sold him to Braga originally.
Sell him again? He's like 30. That's it, right? I don't know. I don't care either, but he's a good player. He's going to help him the next 6 months. That's true, obviously, but just the price is a bit excessive for me. But yeah, I BSad undefinitively, don't care. Let's see if he can resurface his career. I mean, it'll be interesting, right? Maybe he'll get some burn at Guimarães. You never know. He got some burn at the Whitecaps. Turned it on a little bit at the end of the season. Became a regular. So maybe he's got, like 15% juice left. Katamu feels like a formality, that 50% for $5 million. I mean, that'd be savage if Guimarães activates that clause. But I feel like they won't, because they're not in the greatest spot financially and had a bit of trouble earlier this season as well. So that seems like a bit of a locuta for them. Same with signing Plata as well.
Hold on.
Right of preference.
Didn't they just spend like 15 million for a Porto kid?
Yeah, but that was fake money, bro. That was like monopoly money.
Fake money. What do you mean, Chris?
It was a fake transfer, bro. They spent 15, they got 15.
Facts. Sorry, go ahead. My bad. I had to include that.
Yeah, it's true. It is true, though. They have technically made a 15 million euro signing recently. But it feels like they're unlikely to purchase Katamu. I feel like they're unlikely to purchase Plata for at least what we're asking for. So those both kind of feel like formalities. If they end up happening, I guess okay, but it's still decent for us in the end. Yeah, I mean, Edwards looked good today, taking people on one-on-one. Like, I feel like we needed someone to do that more consistently. We're crossing the ball a lot more. He almost had an assist today. Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's going to help in the next 6 months, and Savvy is not going to stay. And he is expected, I'm sure, to have a critical role going forward next season as well.
Yeah. Danny, any further thoughts from it in terms of financials? What did you think of it?
Yeah, financials. I mean, it's to the, like Christian said, it's the way this admin has been doing work. So no shock there. Plata definitely was involved, Juicebox. On like the on Guimarães' website, it actually, or on their comunicado, it actually mentions that they have first preference should Valladolid not activate their clause. But it seems like they will, because it looks like they're about to get promoted. So Plata's pretty much gone anyways. My only concern with now, even though before I was sounding weird because I was saying we don't need Marcus Edwards, we have enough wingers. Now my concern is we might not have enough wingers because, Pot, Marcus now, and Nuno Santos, I guess, can play there. Who am I forgetting? Sarabia he's a potential though. We might lose him. So for next season, are we only counting on 3 right now, if I'm not mistaken, plus academy kids, of course? Am I forgetting somebody?
Jenny will be back.
Tabata. And Jenny. Okay, Jenny might be back, yes. But yeah. Tabata. Right now, we're pretty thin in that winger position with 4.
Jovane could come back also, but we'll see.
Jovane could come back well at Lazio, but there was something that came out today.
Bad start on day one.
Yes,
dude, so.
yes. With Sarri not liking him. So, yes, we might get him back. So, if that's the case, I mean, it's looking decent. But if we get Jovane back, we'll probably sell him.
Also, Sarri might not make it himself. So, who knows?
Lazio might be within like a Champions League spot, though. So maybe. And he's well respected in Italy. But yes, those moves are my only concern is we're too thin at the winger position, where as before I was saying we're too stacked. But other than that, man, I'm excited. He took the 23 because I'm guessing he couldn't take Jovan's number 10 because he used it this season. But I wouldn't be shocked if we have him at number 10 next season. Like I said earlier, classic Sporting signing is it smells like it because of the standing ovations you guys are talking to me about. But Ruben Amorim's, been...
People are hyped, man. People are hyped about him and about the man we're about to talk about as well. People are very excited. Yes.
But definitely more hype towards him, where I think we'll have more realistic expectations of Slimani, which we'll get to. But with Marcus Edwards, because he's young, because... like I said, because he's young, he's very talented, very pacey, all of that. I'm interested to see how he's going to be in a team where he's no longer the star, because at Guimarães, I felt like he disappeared at moments. But with Amorim, like I was about to say, He he's defying all expectations. He's defying all the typical Sporting moments haven't been happening. So long may it continue. And welcome, Marcus. I'm hoping for you to be yet another Brit that I fall in love with, like Ryan Gauld and Eric Dyer.
Yeah, just to go on what you two have said, I think it's a good financial deal. Getting that wage off the books is a great move, I think. Jenny it'll be good to make game time. I think he's going to be between their B team and the first team. So it'd be good for him to get a bit of burn, more than he would be getting here. But I think all round, I know the 50% thing is difficult because that's just the way they operate. But I think what's good for us, he's English.
Honestly, in this case, more than anything, it was kind of by necessity because we thought he only owned half of his pass. But it's not like we would have bought the whole pass even if we could have,
Yeah, exactly. But I think we're destined to make profit on him anyway, just because of the sort of the English. An English Championship team will just come in and spend 20 million, 50 million on him. So
money hack. Yeah, that is a 15 million euro hack.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, lastly, before I move on, both of you, what would you give this transfer out of 10? Danny?
You know what? I'll even though I said all that, I'll give it an 8. A good young signing, a bit on the pricier side, but heck, that's what we've been doing now. An Amorim boy. Amorim's wanted him. Marketable. We'll probably make our money back on him, plus some. So, I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Chris, what would you give the transfer out of 10?
Yeah, I was thinking similarly. I bet I was thinking more 7, but very similar logic. Potential coach who has a pretty good record of wanting players and then panning out. The financials are what they are, but honestly, they could be worse. And it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8 as well. I feel like obviously he has to prove himself, but the financials is not like a massive transfer. It's not like a Paulinho where it's 16 million or even close to that. So I think it's just sort of the right amount of money we need. And I think he'll definitely come with this stretch of games, having especially Porto twice in Man City, Famalicão on Sunday. It's going to be a lot of rotation, I think. So it'll be good for him to. And
it does feel like having him, like, if you want to keep starting PSP, that's fine, I guess, for now. But Edwards off the bench does actually feel like real sauce off the bench. Tabata is like the knockoff version of sauce off the bench. He's the the dollar store edition of sauce off the bench. But Edwards is for real sauce off the bench. You're down 1-0 against Man City, throw in Edwards type situation. It's a luxury to have for the next 6 months potentially. Assuming everyone stays healthy and everything.
Yeah, definitely. But the last incoming of the windows, obviously, everyone knows who this next player is going to be, and definitely a club legend, Islam Slimani, coming back on a free transfer with a net salary of 1.6 million. He rescinded with Lyon, which allowed it to be a free transfer, and all was registered in time. Let me start with you, Danny. Obviously, Slimani, in the last few years, definitely in a bit of a slump. He had that good season at Monaco, I believe, 2018-19, but since then hasn't really got back to form. What are your overall thoughts, 1 on the financials and 2 on the move itself?
Financials, I think I said it last podcast. I'll say it again. It's not the cheapest deal, not for an aging Slim, 33 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Like you said, last good season was 2-3 years ago in Monaco. But with that being said, I think he's a striker that we're more so looking for, looking in the realms of a similar type player to Paulinho, where he could have the hold-up play. I do remember him, doing similar things, winning headers in the midfield to pass them on to Gelson and others. So in that vein, a good signing, a goal-scoring striker. Whether he's done it recently or not, he has that ability. And I think he's in his last game with Lyon, he's scored, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, he's still in a slump. But yeah, of course, 1.5 million for a guy like that isn't cheap. But I didn't expect any less from a guy that, like I said, when we first gave him the shot, went to the World Cup with Algeria, scored like a goal or two, goes to the camera and goes like this. He loves the club. I'm never going to deny he doesn't love the club, but I know he's about his paper. I'm with my boy, we're both about our paper, so I get it. But yeah, I mean, long story short, I think it's a good signing. I think it's this type of signing we needed. My only downside to this is now it comes at the cost of us potentially losing not only for a short-term loan, but it looks like for the foreseeable future. I don't know if they have an optional or a guaranteed buy clause of Thiago Tomás. I know you're not the biggest fan of him, Sam. Now we don't have a scapegoat at least, but I thought at least at 18, 19, like he can still develop into a player, whether that's on the wing or through the middle. We seem like we've lost him for more experience. So for the long term, is that the best move? Maybe not. But of course, we have other academy kids coming through, so who knows? But in the short term, love this move. We've complained about Paulinho not scoring enough. We have Slimani to come off the bench for that. In fact, today, I just seen Paulinho not only scores a tap-in, scored a header, like you guys mentioned, and a beautiful header, mind you, looking like Slimani in his prime. So he's already feeling the heat. So nothing but good moves. I'm glad that Slimani's back, and I'm hopeful that we're not, we see the Slimani that before he left the club, not even before he left the club, but at least a vague sense of Slimani, at least another super sub, like we said about Marcus Edwards. Imagine we have Slimani coming off the bench, even against City. Imagine we have Slimani up top against City, where we're just looking to pay the counter. Marcus Edwards makes a fucking incredible run down the wing. Who's winning a header over Slimani? Ruben Diaz wasn't back in the day. He might not have been playing when Slimani was in the league, but regardless, who's winning that header?
I mean, yeah, that is true. Porro's crossing as well recently in this game, especially was top notch, and I think, Matthews Rice loves a good cross as well. I think Amorim's system is pretty much cross. That's all he does, really. That's pretty much most of it.
There's more crosses now. The crossing has been increased a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't understand why in August he wasn't a fan of Slimani, because literally the game plan suits him to a T. But Chris, I'm going to ask you the same questions, but with an extra question. Pedro Spaldova, who's the one who announced the move and announced the interest, he was told that it wasn't a wish of Amorim, it was a wish of Verandas. For whatever reason, obviously speculative, according to the elections. He thought it'd give people more of a chance to vote for him. But firstly, in terms of the overall move, what are you thinking in terms of financials? And do you think it was one for Verandas? And what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think it's... So, yeah, I think that multiple things could be true at the same time, and multiple, thoughts about the signing from a sporting perspective could be true at the same time. We've definitely needed an alternative striker for a long time. Is Slimani an option now? Yes. I feel like we have, one forward system, that we play, having two solid target men that have, different potential. I think probably Slimani's a better header, obviously pulling out a nice header today, but he's not scored too many goals with his head. I think Slimani's probably better running behind the lines, but I think Paulinho provides more defensively, more support, more hold up probably. So it's they have pros and cons, but we have a real rotational, true target men for the first time, which is great. Is he worth the cost? Basically, if you think about it from total money perspective, it's 1.5 years, 3.2 million, half of that, 1.6. So, we're looking at almost 5 million for Slimani for 1.5 years, which is fine. But it is a bit excessive for someone who is likely to be the backup. I find it hard to believe that he's going to start. He might start some games, but Paulinho is still the striker. Palinha just scored 2 goals today. Slimani came here to be an alternative. So is that price, like, what could we have bought a 23-year-old different option for $5 million that, you know, had a more look to the future type thing than a 33-year-old out of form? Probably, but like at the same time, it's like Slimani has performed here. Like it is the perfect stop for him to turn around his career. You know, if it doesn't turn around here, it's his next stop's Dubai, bro, because there's no more chances in Europe, you know. So I do hope that he, you know, performs and scores some crucial goals for us down the stretch, you know. I see his role mostly if we're tied or losing coming on to provide an alternative to Coates, you know, having to run the length of the field the whole game, you know, the last 10 minutes. And maybe he'll score a late winner in that scenario. That's what it's set up for. So, yeah, let's hope for some epic Slimani moments. But, like, from the perspective of, like, the Bananas perspective, like, I saw a lot of people either really hyping this point up or very just dismissing it, like, oh, he's gonna win. Like, so I don't understand the logic behind he's going to already win. So he, like, we were just talking about like how the last pod, obviously winning Taça da Liga is a major boost to him, but like things can change really fast for him, and he did everything he could the last like 2 weeks. He had a really good 2 weeks, man. He didn't sell Palinha, he won the Taça da Liga, and he brought back Slimani. Like, he could have done the opposite of those 3 things. And how are we talking about him right now if all of those things happen? We have a bust deadline day. We just lost a trophy, and he sold off Palinha. Like, this is a different podcast, and the mood is very different. So, yeah, these things can shift quickly. So, despite his position seeming 100%, and while it is probably safe, like, yeah, he made a move to shore himself up, for sure. Like, this move definitely benefits him. It benefits the club. It gives Amorim an alternative. It gives him he got 2 big signings deadline day. Like, I think multiple things can be true at the same time. Like, I don't think he was thinking, like, I'm so desperate, I'm going to lose, so I need to do something crazy. I think he's like, I'm in a strong position, but things can change fast. The fan base is very hot and cold. They can, the ball no entra for 2-3 games. They can, you know, show up with pitchforks type shit. It could change fast. So, yeah, I'm going to make a move, even though my position is strong today. I'm going to make a move that benefits multiple things, including myself. Like, I think that is accurate, you know?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. You know, you both know how I feel about sort of the nostalgic signings. I didn't want Montero back. Realistically, you can go back probably 3 or 4 podcasts. I didn't want Slimani back either. But, I mean, with the lack of goals we've been having, it's always good to have a backup. The wages really make me think, because they did sort of break their own sort of salary cap to bring him in. And if you're Coates or Pot or even someone else, you're thinking
these boys who renewed, let's just say they've renewed 2-3 times in the last 2 years to go to 300K, to 500K, to 700K, to renew again 900K. This guy comes in, he's already, you know, 4x you know, instantly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's different if it's someone like Sarabia and we're breaking the wage structure for him because he's literally been good this season and he's proved it. It's not someone, like, no disrespect for Slimani, but you have to remember his prime was nearly 7 years ago. Like, he hasn't had a good season since 7 years ago, which is absolutely crazy to think about on paper. Flopped at Leicester, flopped at Newcastle. Monaco was good, fair enough. Flopped at Fenerbahce, flopped at Lyon. And it's just like, I mean, I love the guy, and like you said, Danny, I no doubt that he loves the club. It just makes me think that if it does go wrong, and it can go wrong, that it will be more deflected towards Varandas, because we've seen it before when presidents or the board buy a player without the manager's consent. Mourinho at Man United, when they brought Fred, he didn't want, and I think they bought Lindelof, who he didn't want. Frank Lampard, when they bought Ziyech for Chelsea, and it's just, you can go through.
It did seem like Amorim was expecting to lose Thiago Tomas, but not in the way that he was going to lose him. Because he was saying today that he wanted him to go alone in Portugal. He's gone for a year and a half to Germany. I mean, I guess that means he's expected to losing him, but I wonder what Was Amorim did he not want a replacement? Was he cool with just emergency Coates as like really the only alternative up there? I don't know. Maybe he wanted somebody else.
Yeah.
Like.
He kind of did say he now sees like the need for Slimani, whereas in the summer he didn't want him. But yes, that's another thing that I also
question. It'd be awkward as fuck if he didn't say that.
That's also true. Of course, that's also true. But I mean, I'm sure there's a way he could have worded it differently. But I mean, the fact that he came out to say like, these guys never gave me a player I didn't want even in the beginning. Now that I've won the league, they're not doing it now. Like the way he fucking said that, makes me believe, okay, like maybe even if it was a Varandas signing and Amorim was like iffy about it, at the end of the day, Amorim maybe even just gave a blessing for it. Like, fuck it, we need something up there. But exactly, to the same point you made, Chris, like, okay, Tiago Tomás, you wanted him to go out on loan in Portugal. Other than Slimani, what's the other solution out there? Were we looking at Navarro from Gil Vicente? Were we looking at, who was the other striker we were talking? I feel like we were in for another striker as well from the Portuguese league. Regardless, let's just say Navarro is the only one. I personally think maybe he would have been a better signing than Slimani. I mean, we're buying somebody, in good form rather than somebody that's washed. Counter argument could be like, look at Braga. They signed Mario, what's his name, from Tondela last season? Gonzalez, and he just went on loan to second division Spain. We dodged the bullet on that one. So, there's pros and cons. So, I mean, definitely we're getting somebody with experience, but we're also getting somebody, like Sam said, that's washed. Let's call a spade, right? Only time will tell. But I think Slimani is at least coming in for. He's like coming in for a job, I guess. Like there's that one time we'll need him where, for winning headers, so we don't have to depend on Coates, or we can depend on both of them. Imagine trying to defend last minute of the game. It's 1-1. You have to mark Coates, Slimani, and Gonçalo Inácio, who's been amazing with his head this season. You know what I mean? Pause.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a different threat to face. So
we need a long throw in, bro. That's the one thing we're missing.
Oh yeah, we're missing João Pereira.
Weston McKennie, bro.
Yeah, I'm Weston McKennie, facts.
But yeah, just to sort of finish off my point, I did a tweet the other day which was satire and mostly true about Varandas waiting the last minute, last hour of the transfer window to get one of his election promises, and people found that tweet and weren't very happy. People kept linking me what Amorim was saying, like about Slimani, but it's like, why would he say anything else? Why would he go out there and say, "Oh, the guy we just signed. Oh yeah, I didn't actually want him." That would never happen.
The guy that all the fans love, and yeah, it's like that I'm gonna create fiction with the fans and the board by saying this.
Unless you're like a Jose Mourinho, he would say. I feel like that's something he would say.
He just doesn't give a fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I don't know. For me, you guys know that I sort of operate on the system that I don't care how much you were, how young you are. I expect all players to play for the same level, and that's a good level. If I'm just saying to all the fans out there, do not be blinded by nostalgia. If he has 3 shit games in a row and he can't score, just call it what it is, and that's a shit move. And it like I said to Tiago Tomás, he scored 2 goals and then was useless. And people are like, oh, but he scored 2 goals. Yeah, in this time now, that was 2 years ago.
He scored goals against semi-pro players. 2 goals against semi-pro players.
Exactly. I'm just saying, like, just if he do not give me all this, oh, he'll become good eventually, he'll do this or do that. Just do not be blinded by it. He might be bad, but anyway. Chris, rate this move out of 10.
From whose perspective?
Sporting
My perspective.
Well, yeah, your perspective, and also like how
my perspective, like a 5. The board's perspective, like a 7.
Yeah, Danny, what are you thinking?
I'd agree, but I'll just say a 6 in general. We're signing a guy past his prime at 1.5 million. Padinha is making how much compared to him? Like
7. If he tanks, like if he by the time it's clear to us, at least, that he just doesn't have the sauce anymore, it won't matter because it'll be in April.
And exactly. And his contract will probably be done. I mean, it's only a year and a half, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Right? The interesting thing is if he's so bad in these 6 months that it's like we got to try to escape the second year. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with that. But yeah, because it's like we have this albatross contract and this guy can't hit the side of a barn type deal, you know.
Yeah,
and he's 34, you know. But I don't want to even think about that yet, dude.
Exactly. But we have that in his contract, right? We have something where we can just mutually terminate within 6 months. So
and then it'll head to Qatar.
Exactly. So, you know, honestly, after saying that, maybe a 7, but I'll keep it at a 6 because yes, the financials aren't the greatest, but at least they safeguarded themselves in that.
He has a role. It feels like he has a very specific role.
Exactly.
Dude, here's the other thing. Like, doesn't seem like he's a big ego type guy, but like I don't know what what does he think is about to go down? Like I hope my role in my head for him. I hope that my role in my head for him is the same role that he thinks he's arriving to do.
I disagree when you say he doesn't have a big ego. Like you mentioned, like Algeria.
So does he think he's the man? He's showing up to be the man, and he's gonna get like pissy when he's sitting there? Like
I hope not. I hope at best his mentality is you know, like in basketball, the bench mob, the next one up. Sixth man of the year. But I mean, like, I hope he's like, okay, right now, you know, this Paulinho guy.
Bro, the bench mob today was deep. The bench mob today was deep because Pop got subbed out, Portugal got subbed out, Mateus Nunes. Like, the bench was on the bench. Yeah, Paulinho. The bench was like all starters at the end of the game. It was kind of sick, and they were all fucking around and laughing.
So, yeah, I'm hoping that his mentality is I want to steal the starting spot. But, yes, I'm also hoping he's not going to be pissy about it. But I doubt it. I don't think he was the starter in Lyon anyways.
No.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give it...
Only time will tell, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 7. But just for people that I'm going to say, they're going to tweet us to say, like, we're shitting on Slimani or Verandas. We hope he proves us wrong. Like, of course. Like, and if he does prove us wrong, then yeah, hands up. Then it was a great signing. But on paper, it just looks like a bit of an off one. But speaking of off, let's go to our first out, and that is Jovane. As you mentioned before, a loan with option to buy of 8 million. I believe if he plays 45 minutes in 10 games, then it's automatically activated. But they also have like.
Can we wait? I think we should acknowledge this juice box point before we go to Jovane real quick for the last thing on
this one.
Why am I forgetting? Slimani, yeah. It's like, let's just say Paulinho, like, it's kind of an awkward conversation to have today because he just had, like, in theory, one of his better games in a while, and maybe his form is peaking a little bit. It ebbs and flows, I guess. But he did score 2 goals today, so I'm not going to take that away from it. But, like, a situation where he is out of form enough that Slimani becomes the starter is really bad news to us because of like the value of Paulinho. Like,
yeah,
that's just like I feel like that's just a nightmare scenario for his mental health type thing. Like, it feels like he kind of overcame like the worst of it. Like, he doesn't need to get in the depths of, you know, just missing all these goals. I don't know, man. Like, a scenario where Paulinho is not the starter because he's so bad and returning to Slimani is a scenario where that's really bad for us in terms of, like, Slimani's not the future. Obviously, we know he'll be gone in a year, and Paulinho is supposed to be the future. And if you're opting for like the old guy desperately, it's just that sounds like a really bad situation. And I hope that it doesn't get there.
And last thing on this, and then we'll go to Jovane. When you say how awful Paulinho has been, Juicebox, to a sense, I agree with you when it comes to goal scoring. Yes, he's frustrating as fuck. How does he miss an open net like that? I'm not taking that away from you. But to me, and like I've said this a million times already, he's not, or he's more than just a goal scoring striker. Like, he provides so much to our overall play that we can't call him awful, because without Paulinho, Pot doesn't get as many goals as he does, or Sarabia doesn't get involved in the play. The way he just drops in deep. So to call him awful, I think is harsh. But of course, if we're talking goal scoring, 100%.
No, or we're just talking the full package. We're talking the
but
price tag. We're talking everything. It's like
fair enough.
in
Even
some
still, I don't
areas-
think it's awful.
No, yes, it's still not
Bad,
awful.
maybe
It's
at
just
best.
like bang average overall.
Yeah.
You know, it's been highs, it's been lows. Just if you average it all out, it's just like bang on average overall, I feel like.
Agreed.
I'm just gonna, before we move on, I sort of agree with what Danny was saying, but I don't think Paulinho's been awful. When you look at the big moments we have, and it was sort of a joke like UEFA man and big game player, but he has been. He scored against Benfica. We got through to the Champions League on 3 goal difference. He scored 3 goals in the Champions League and won the penalty that made us beat Dortmund. He scored to win us the title. I mean, you can't sort of underestimate. I know he is frustrating in a front goal. Do not get me wrong. He misses easy chances and he seems to score absolute worldies for no reason. But I think if you look against Benfica, I thought he played so well in terms of pressing, which we'll obviously get on to later on. But he pressed. He was good at annoying Vertonghen, and I think he is a good. I saw it on Twitter. I can't remember who tweeted it. He's not a good striker, but he's a good player, is what I saw, and I sort of agree with it. He is not good in front of goal, but like pressing and passing, getting into space, I feel like he does that. He's probably one of the best in Portugal, but I digress. We move on to Jovane. 8 million loan with an option to buy, or if he plays 10 games, more than 45 minutes. Unfortunately, news did come out today saying the Lazio manager, which is Sarri, didn't know this deal was happening. Apparently doesn't even know who Jovane is, which is great. So maybe he's not playing in 10 games. But let me start with you, Chris. What were your overall thoughts about this move?
It feels like it's a long time coming, but not the. It's not the. There's like this saying in Portuguese I feel like doesn't have like a direct translation in English, like sair pela porta grande and sair pela porta pequena. Like this seems very sair pela porta pequena when in maybe other situations he sold last summer. It's more of a triumphant exit. This feels kind of like a fail exit. Maybe he'll be back. Who knows? But yeah, man, I feel like this man is just inconsistent, often injured. A lot of talent. I'll never forget the 2 goals he scored in the last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes even against Porto. Some big moments. I remember he used to come up the first season he integrated, he would come off the bench and provide such a spark, even scored or assisted in the first couple games off the bench. And it was just Jovane off the bench, baby, in 2018 era. Yeah, I mean, it could have ended differently, but and it's a shame to see that he's off to a bad start on day one already.
Yeah, that comment is
what a comment. Sorry, I had to throw that out there.
They're about to find her, bro. So CMTV says at least.
Danny, what were your overall thoughts on Jovane moving to Lazio?
Excuse me. Yeah. I feel like I've been saying the last 2 seasons here that he's going to go for 10, 15 million. So 9 million is not that far off. I slightly agree with Chris. Fond memories, but yeah, I do believe he left on the Porta Pequena, more of a failed move because of his injuries. But it's good for him as well. I mean, he needs to maybe get out of his comfort zone. I don't know to the degree of all these injuries of how they've been, but Mourinho, I'm a big Mourinho guy. Mourinho has this sort of I don't want to call it a philosophy, but this sort of mentality that it's you're only as injured as you want to be, the players, and it's players like him that piss off Mourinho where they're constantly injured. It's is it a mental thing? Are you really that hurt? Can you play through injuries? Do you want to be the best? That's one of the things that maybe get me with Jovane. Lazio's a good club to go to in terms of Italy, where there's expectations, but maybe it's not title winning aspirations, but it's, fighting for Champions League spaces. They're a good team with good players. So he's going to have to fight for his position if he wants to even make those 10 games with 45 minutes or plus. So I think it's a good move for him. Yeah. And Sporting really took the little Nazi thing, forward and decided to loan him out to to a Nazi club. But hey, man, it is what it is.
They could have loaned at Nazinho.
Just kidding, Lazio fans. Don't kill me if anybody watches this.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Are they gonna get mad at you for the spitting the truth or what?
Listen, I don't live too far from Little Italy here in Toronto. I don't know any Lazio fan though, mind you. I only know Inter, AC, and Juve fans. But if there are any out there that so happen to be listening, I'm just kidding, bro.
Come on the pod.
Come on the pod. Yeah, I want to interview you.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Just
Lazio. Also, I was just kind of related to this move. I was just kind of trolling around the comment section of like random tweets about Jovane in Italian, and then just like going through and just hitting translate. Sometimes the translate doesn't work if it's like too short. If it's just like 3 or 4 words, it doesn't work. But I was just kind of just trying to get a sentiment for the Lazio perspective. And I'm not gonna, at least online, maybe this is like a sporting thing where like the online perspective maybe doesn't skew for the overall fan base. But like online, at least, they were cooking that. They were cooking Lazio because they were complaining about lack of winter business, bitching. No, we're not doing anything. No one's making a move. And then this is their deadline day signing. They look back, they see that, you know, he's had involvement with George Menz in the past. Let's trying to get 15 million for him. Wanting to renew, never renewing. Like, Lazio fans caught on to this. They see that Sarri doesn't like him, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is going on at our club type of shit. So I hope he proves all of them wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, facts.
It's a bad start. It's a really bad start.
Yeah. I think he had to go. I don't rate him that much.
I think he had to go too, eventually. Like,
I think he's a decent player.
he should have gone. To be honest, he probably should have gone. We would have maybe cashed out. Like, his max value has definitely passed.
He should have gone in the summer, I think, because there was no way that he was actually starting any games over Paulinho or when Sarabia came in. It was like, come on, there's no way that Jovan's getting in. But I'm looking and I can just see like the 8 million. I don't think it's going to be done. I don't think he plays more than 10 games, 45 minutes. I doubt he stays fit for more than 2 games because that's been his issue. And I know obviously that's not his fault, but I just think when you're that injury prone, a lot of clubs aren't going to be circling you or offering bids. And I think he may be a player that we see in maybe 3 or 4 years' time that is in one of the Portuguese like mid-table teams like a Portimonense or Belenenses, even like a Famalicão.
He does a little tour of Southern and Eastern Europe for a couple of years, and then comes back. Yeah, we've seen it many times, man.
Yeah,
they all
so
come back.
like a Carlos Mané, like he went to Real Ave and then he went to Turkey. That's exactly how I see Carlos Mané was always injury prone. They're pretty much really similar players in that regard.
But at the same time, I also see Jovane like a Southampton.
Bro, he had the chance to go there for 15 million in theory, and I don't see him back, let him go. Bro. I don't see him in England, man. I don't see him playing.
I do. I think he's a big player. Like if he gets his injuries, if he gets the injury bug over, he can be. I've seen him be physical, so you know I can see him in Southampton. I can see him at like an Ibar. What other club does George Menz own in
Valencia?
In Valencia might be too big, but
no. What's the other one? The one
Almeria.
Almeria. That's gonna maybe get promoted. Yeah.
So, but anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
No, I was just saying, like, the only thing that I can sort of like when West Ham are in for him, he can be sort of like an Antonio player. That like Antonio, I believe, started as a left back, and now he's like the top goal scorer for West Ham in like the last 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. But like very similar skill set, I think. But I don't see this move going well at all. If he starts a game, I'll be shocked. That isn't like a league game or like a cup game. But I think most of their cups are in the sort of the final stages, like ours are. So I don't think he's going to get many cup opportunities. But I think it's a good move for him. But I just don't think it's going to go well at all.
He also had a deadline inquiry from Sassuolo. Maybe that would have been a better move, to be honest, than Lazio if he was going to go to Italy. But
I was thinking, was that an actual inquiry, or was it just sort of Sporting saying, "Oh, by the way, can we leak this so Lazio actually come in?"
Yeah, or it could just be leverage. Yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
The last one, which is very close to Danny's heart at least, and I know Lauren's in the chat as well. Mr. Thiago Tomas doesn't even have a face on the Bundesliga website, but he's gone to Stuttgart.
Not yet.
Not yet. He's gone to Stuttgart on loan. I believe there is an option to buy. Is it 18? Is that correct?
No, I think it's 10.
10. Okay, 10 million.
That's not bad still.
He's been sort of not even like a meme but like Stuttgart. They've actually like welcomed him with open
Dude, he's
arms.
been hyped, bro. He's been there. He's like, we're maybe gonna get relegated. We've made a big signing. This is it. It's him.
Like yeah, they've treated him like a god. So, like some of the memes I've seen have been hilarious. Like so good. But yeah,
I hope for his sake that he's ready, bro, because they're, I guess, hyped for him. So they're in the drop zone. It's tight down there, but they are in the drop zone.
Apparently, a 15 million buyout. Like you said, relegation zone, 19 years of age. I mean, I don't think anyone expected him to go to a Bundesliga team. Amorim especially didn't expect him to go to a Bundesliga team. Danny, since he's your boy, I'll let you take the lead on this one. What are your overall thoughts on the move?
All right, like I said earlier, it sucks because we're losing a striker for the foreseeable future. Because who knows if it's an option to buy, right? It's not mandatory that they have to buy him. So an option to buy. Option. There's still a potential that he comes back, right? But if he comes back, that's like a Pedro Marques, that's a Pedro Minge.
I forgot to mention, by the way, 2-year loan spell.
Yes.
1.5.
Or 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah. 18-month loan. So, if they get relegated, I mean, in a sense, it might be good because if they get relegated, I don't know who the striker is right now, but I'm sure they're just going to be running Thiago Tomás or maybe even Thiago Tomás on the right. Personally, I like the move. Take him out of the comfort zone of Portugal. Really take him out of his element. I don't know how good his English is or if he has any knowledge of German, but that'll make or break a player. And I think a player like Thiago Tomás, I mean, he's already the band's already been dismantled of Minge, Thiago Tomás, and Quaresma. We're seeing how Quaresma's coping with it. And not coping with it. He's not doing very well because Tondela is no longer playing him as much.
Ups and downs, yeah. High moments, but more down moments than good. But they're having
exactly. There and like even with Quaresma, I think maybe expectations are too high because with Quaresma, he had a good game against Benfica, I remember, but Benfica's game-winning goal or whatever it was Quaresma's mistake. By the way, did Benfica end up losing today? It was still 2-1?
Yes, they lost, yeah.
Let's go, Gil Vicente. And sorry.
Atletico Madrid man scored a goal. Samuel Lino.
He's back. So did he get sold or is it a loan?
He got sold and he's back on loan.
On loan. But yeah, in terms of this move, I like it. Out of the comfort zone, this will make or break a player. If Thiago Tomás comes out of this, a half decent player, not half, I think he's already half decent, but a really good player. Really starts to shine, really gets the minutes that he deserves, then we're talking about Thiago Tomás in an entirely.
I'm going to be tracking him.
Light.
He's the loan pipeline has been so lame this year, tracking all of them outside of Sporad, really. Pedro Man scored a goal the other day, but
and Plata's been entertaining, but that's mainly off the field antics,
Yeah. Thiago Tomás is now an intriguing add to the loan watch for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see. If he does well, he's definitely never coming back. If he doesn't do well, even if he comes back, I feel like it's going to be a Pedro Marques, a Pedro Minge, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's tough to see him go, but he'll hopefully get the minutes that he deserves because I think he's a player that when you give him minutes, he does better than when he's just coming off the bench, sort of thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Chris, what are your overall thoughts on the move?
Yeah, I agree with Danny. I mean, it's not exactly the club or the league I expected. I actually didn't expect him to leave this window, to be honest. But it's interesting, and I'm curious to see how it pans out. I hope that they don't I hope the expectations aren't too high for him, and I hope that they stay up.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that I think it's a bad move for him. And the only reason I say that it's because the Bundesliga and the type of strikers they have over there. Just like off the top of my head, you've got like obviously Haaland, Lewandowski. You've got guys like Kramrich for Hoffenheim. The list goes on. They're all sort of prolific strikers, but Thiago Tomas, I think he's a good winger. He's not a good striker. He runs.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where he's used mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, he runs and he's good. He's got good technique on the ball as well. Actually, he busts out the good skill move here or there. But I think I would prefer him to see him stay in Portugal, wherever that was, sort of a bottom table team, or even I think the second league would have been sort of right by him. But the only reason I'm thinking this could turn out to be a good move, and if there is any Stuttgart fans watching, I do apologise, but if they do get relegated, then they're in the second Bundesliga, and that is more his level. Like I believe Carlos Mané went to Stuttgart when they were in the second division, and I think he did it sort of okay there. But I think if they do get relegated, it's sort of more on his level and a bit easier for him to shine in the second division. If Thiago Tomas, there's two ways this can go. Thiago Tomas can shine and make Stuttgart stay up, or Thiago Tomas can shine and get them promoted again just before it is in 2023. But what would you guys rate this move out of 10? Danny, what are you saying?
I'll give it a 7.5 because, like we said, he needed a loan. I like it personally because he's out of Portugal, but there is a potential that if he fails, it's going to look like a big failure at that young age. It might be detrimental. But you say prolific goal scorers. I mean, I think he's a good player, but at the same time they have André Silva banging in goals in the Bundesliga. I think Gonçalo Paciencia even had like a good run in the Bundesliga as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I think I can see, yes, they're different players, but I can see Thiago Tomas doing well there. And if so, it only gives them even more credibility doing it at a Stuttgart, even if they get relegated, even if they're in the Bundesliga too, than doing it at maybe a Tondela or whatever, like a team like that, basically. So 7.5.
Chris, what rating are you giving it?
From my perspective, like a 6.5. From his perspective, probably like closer to like an 8, because I feel like he had to leave to develop his career, to move in the next direction. Consistent minutes aren't going to come here, but are they going to come there? Like, should he have gone? I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but maybe he will get consistent minutes, but like that is what he needs, and I think he definitely would be more likely to get them at Vizela, but it's also a greater challenge, new league, unfamiliar tactics, stadiums, etc. So let's see how he adapts.
Yeah, I'm going to give it in a different vein. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I just think that this could be sort of a demoralizing move for him if it turns out to be awful. Because with Portugal, you can sort of hide behind it, but he's on a bigger stage and more people are going to notice him. And if he does do bad, then like Chris was saying about Paulinho, how does it affect like his mental health or his form in the long run? That like we've seen it with lone players, especially young ones.
You're far from your friends, your family, your mates.
He's still a kid at the end of 19 is still young. It's still pretty much like not mature enough. No disrespect to him, but like he's still got a lot to learn. Like moving abroad for 2 years, like I don't know how loan moves work, but like probably staying in a hotel for like the first 3 or 4 months until he gets an actual place. Like I mean, who knows how he'll do, but I mean, I hope he does well, but I don't see it happening. That is sort of it for the roundup of transfers, unless I'm missing anything. But we'll go on to the Twitter questions that we got. We spoke about Slimani, so I'll leave that one. Let me just find my mouse. Cool. Okay, Chris, I'll give this one to you. Thoughts about the cup final? Was anyone nervous going into half losing, or confident we could pull it off because we played in the first half? What were you thinking? And on that vein, I guess we can move on to the actual game itself as well. But what were your overall thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, Benfica really did feel like they scored against the run of play and were one shot, one goal boys. And it like going into half losing definitely was not like ideal, and it would have just like let's just say I didn't have confidence that we could turn it around completely, but I had enough confidence that we could tie this game up and send it to the lottery at the very least. So I wasn't like really so sketched out at halftime, to be honest. I've been sketched out more at halftime before than this game, because they have nothing, dude. They don't have anything. It feels like they are the like the Silas. They're in their like Silas Sporting era right now, and from our perspective, there's nothing we can do but just kick back, relax, and just drink it in, boys. Drink in the fans freaking out. Drink in 6K attendance. Just enjoy it, because it's we don't often get to see it.
Usually it's on us,
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Danny, what were your overall thoughts about the game and the first half, especially? Considering Nuno's question.
Yeah, legit. Exactly how Christian said it. It was annoying to go into the first half 1-0 down, knowing that it was literally one shot, one goal, because Adan's only save was in like the 94th minute or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So it's embarrassing on their end, whereas at least with our first game with them, we smashed them, but I felt like it was much more of a competition, especially that first half, and we smashed them. Where was this one where in the first half we were just unlucky not to score? Was it in the first half that Paulinho hit the bar or not? I can't remember, but
second, that one, I believe.
The second,
okay. Second half.
Regardless, I feel like the first half we were constantly attacking them, whether we got a shot on net or not. I remember us constantly going up that wing, every now and again having to mitigate on the counter, but not much. That first game against them, maybe it was, the Jorge Jesus effect is rubbing off, and Nelson Verissimo. I mean, personally, I don't think he's that guy, and you're just not that guy, pal. But it's just we just battered them. They just got that lucky goal in the first half, but it was the moment where I seen Nuno Santos, and I tweeted this, but I really felt it. The moment I seen Nuno Santos with his bald ass head, fucking looking like Eminem in his prime, telling Everton, I think it was, he was like, filha da puta, and then Ruben Amorim sort of pulling him back, like, get the fuck back on the bench. It was from that moment on I knew we were winning this game. Whether it was Nuno Santos coming off the bench or not, I wasn't sure. But like Christian's point, I knew we would at least tie it and bring it to penalties, because we're SCP at the end of the day, so com penalties. But I mean, that second half performance was just thoroughly deserved the win. Pedro coming off the bench and just magic for those 10 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever it was. Mateus Reis, in my opinion, I know it was like, I think I tweeted it, and then right after, like, the goal came, and it might have came from the left side. I can't remember now, but Mateus Reis, bro, what a player we've got on our hands. Like I said, I think left wing back is his best position. I thought he played very well, very well. It was nice to see Fidel also coming back. Gonçalo Inácio, I mean, of course, with the header, Sarabia, picking up the slack where, some of us might be complaining about Bot, and I fair enough, fair criticism, I guess. Sarabia is just picking it up, picking up the slack, showing us, how class of a player he was. I don't say this often, but I'll say it here. My hat off to Varandas, my hat off to Hugo Viana. We had to get rid of, we had to make some profit off of our, academy players. We made profit off of Mateus Nuno Mendes, and then getting a player like Sarabia's quality. If we can somehow keep him for next season, that'd be dangerous. We got a winger in his prime right now with something to prove.
It can't happen, bro. It's impossible.
I don't think so either. That's why Marcus Edwards came in. But if we can, that'd be spectacular. And last thing, to Christian's last point, and I seen this tweet today. I was trying to contribute to it, but I just couldn't find a funny picture enough. Some Benfica fan tweeted like, quem gosta do Benfica neste momento tá doente. Like, whoever likes Benfica right now is sick. and like the quote tweet is like Neto in like a hospital bed wearing like a Sporting jersey. I even seen Porto fans like they're all surrounded like an injured player in the hospital. Benfica and João Mario in the mud. I love it. Love it. And let this be a lesson. Whenever you jump, listen, you can go from Benfica to Sporting and be successful. You can even go from Sporting to Porto and sometimes be successful. Usually, in my opinion, at least, or not actually, I was going to almost say Porto, but I almost forgot of the Masapud. But usually, when you go Sporting Benfica, it doesn't work. Yannick Jalot didn't work. I'm forgetting another one, but it normally doesn't work. João Mario, you are currently being
Rocha from futsal just signed for Benfica.
Rocha from futsal, it won't work. It won't work. We have the best futsal team in the world currently.
Yeah.
What's his? He scored today. The other futsal guy with the tattoos. He was on ADN. Miguel Angelo. Doesn't work. Doesn't work, bro. So
and he's back to Sporting, and his form's gone up a little bit. Yeah.
Of course, he scored today. He's been killing it. He's playing for the European champions. João Mario in the mud. I used to love you. I idolized you. I'm so happy that even the picture with Varandas, and we all know, none of us really like Varandas like that. Classic picture. Beautiful picture, in fact. I might get that into a poster and hang it right behind me because it's such an amazing picture. Makes me feel so good. Vertonghen in the mud.
It's just the fact that
Eric Dyer warns you what the better team in Lisbon is. Carrillo. Thank you. I forgot. That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, Carrillo. Didn't work. He won a league. Okay, whatever. Won a league from the bench.
I think he won. Yeah, he won two, actually.
Work out.
No thanks to him.
Okay,
bro.
From the bench.
They won the league.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Sporting won the league and you hate Tiago Tomás, bro. What do you? Come on, bro. It's the same thing.
Okay, you've got me there. Fair enough.
But yeah, love it. Love Benfica right now.
Yeah. Just quick thoughts on the game. I just want to go to a point you said, Danny, about Matheus Rice's best position, a left wing back. I 50% agree, but I don't think Vidal's and Neto's position at the moment is centre back. Them two have just been sometimes they lack concentration. Just like Neto on their goal, especially, I thought was absolutely shocking defending. Whereas I feel
overnight, Vidal went from a solid starter on the national champion to being like a sus ass. Like, what happened, bro? Dude,
he's a big game player.
He's not even getting called up to Morocco anymore. It's like, dude, what the fuck happened to him? Like,
it's the injuries, bro. The injuries have ruined them, and he's getting up there in age. But he's at least playing. He's playing most of the big games.
Should we start Ruben Vinagreing him because we're gonna auto trigger him for next season type deal if he keeps playing? You know.
I think we have been, to be fair. Did he play today?
He did.
Yes.
Come on.
For Coates. Okay, for Coates then.
Yes, dude. He's literally he's gonna get auto renewed for next season.
I wouldn't mind that, but yes, I agree.
I wouldn't mind him as the new Netu, but I don't think we need two of them. You know. Or you really feel it when you have to play two of them at the same time, kind of by force, almost, because Coates isn't even in the country, and potentially just trapped forever.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this game as well showed how much we've been missing Pedro Porro. Because as soon as he came on, different game, totally different game.
Yeah.
And even today, Porro being into that, like everyone seems to shit on this guy. I actually do not mind him. I think for what he is, which is a backup, I think he's good. He's a serviceable backup. He was sort of thrown into the deep end. Replacing a player like Pedro Porro isn't easy. And I mean, he had a few bad games. Amorim tried him at centre back against Ajax, didn't work. And I think that probably did knock his confidence a bit. But I think Porro just comes in, and we're such a better team with him, and it shows so much in terms of creativity, defending. Someone tweeted today that he's like a Rolls Royce of a player. Just completely agree. I think he's absolutely fantastic. Sarabia as well. What a great finish. And Paulinho, give him props. Like I said, pressing earlier to play very well. You could sort of say he dummied the assist to Sarabia's goal.
I was shocked that he came off. To be honest, that he took him off for Tomas. But now that I realize in retrospect, it's because it was like a farewell last time type deal.
Yeah.
Even Jovane played this game too, right?
Yeah, he did. No,
he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He played the game before then, I think.
He was on the bench, definitely, because I saw it in the backstage
Yeah.
Sporting. He was on the pitch celebrating.
If I'm not mistaken, he came off the bench against Santa Clara then for the game prior.
Yeah, I think you're right. But as well, I think what was I say? Yeah, so I thought Paulinho had one of his better games that he didn't score. Like you said, hit the bar. I feel like he was very unlucky.
That was a weird play, the one that he hit the bar.
I think he even thought he was
he
offside.
thought he was offside, but he wasn't. Yeah. So it's like, did he actually try to finish, or was he just like half-assing it because you're just like, oh, they're just gonna call it, and you just kind of just hit it the way you wouldn't normally do it, you know? Yeah. So I don't know. It was just a weird moment. That was weird.
Yeah.
And something's wrong with him. I think him and Jesse Rodriguez have swapped bodies.
Bro,
like Funky Friday.
Okay. He played okay today. He has ups and downs too this season. I'm not SOS on Pot yet.
I'm not SOS yet, but it's getting to that point where he's had like a month-long stretch of being.
He scored a goal though.
He scored 2 not that long ago.
He broke his drought this month, and he had an assist today.
He broke his drought, but now he's back on another one. Just like he can't escape the drought. But I have faith in him. Don't get me wrong, but like at the moment, like especially Marcus Edwards coming in, it makes me think like he could realistically be dropped if Marcus Edwards comes in.
Bro, we need to stop devaluing our own fucking assets, but right before we're trying to sell them, like what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. That's
this is not. We do not need Pot to become a fucking reserve, dude. Like
that's facts.
Yeah. Overall, great win, great victory, especially just because it was, I believe it was 12 years to the day that they beat us for Liga. Pedro Silva, if I'm not mistaken, throwing his medal. And he responded to us, actually.
He had a great Saturday that Pedro Silva did from watching in his like living room in Brazil.
He responded to us, and I don't know if he followed us, but like we're on that terms with him now. So
yeah, we just hit him up.
Yeah, but like, I definitely a great win. Over definitely.
It felt good. It felt like if they won, they would have been like a glimmer of hope, salvation to the season, something they could have fallen back on if the rest of it continued how we're all expecting it to. But just the fact that they couldn't even get this kind of bullshit trophy just rubs it in even more in my eyes, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking at the questions we had, and they're pretty much all ones that we've answered regarding deadline day and transfers and rating players who've come in. So I think that is pretty much for Twitter questions. Before we go on to the BSad game, let me go with you, Chris. Who is your man of the match for this game?
I'm going to have to go Sarabia. I feel like he's hitting his peak form at a really good time. The month of February is treacherous, so having like a world-class player on a rental like that hitting good form right now is I feel like it's important.
Yeah.
What about you, Danny? Who is your man of the match?
I'm inclined to agree, but just to be different, I'll give it to I want to either give it to Inácio or honestly Matheus Reis, but I'll give it to Inácio. I thought he had a solid game at the back as well, really making up for the Braga game. He's come like he's recovered very well, even from the Santa Clara game as well.
A back line of Neto, Fidal, and an out of form Inácio is in theory big trouble. Like Inácio needs to be the one to like step up out of those three. It'd be the center, the anchor.
And he was the leader. I don't know in terms of like the shining star. I think in that back line, definitely it was Inácio. You know,
dude, the one that plays in the middle has to kind of be the most vocal, like the leader. That Coates plays in the middle, like. The middle of the three is the controller. I feel like.
Yeah, agreed. And Inácio, I can't remember if he's done it against Benfica, but Inácio has these moments similar to Coates where they decide to go on an adventure in the midfield and like bring the ball forward. If I'm not mistaken, Inácio had one. He might have failed on it though, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I like the kid, and I think he's done. I think he played well. He got the first goal to start us off. An assist from Sarabia, if I'm not mistaken, off the corner. So, I'm just picking him to be different because let's be real, Sarabia Sarabia's that trophy was half of it was Sarabia's because he was incredible with the goal, with the assist, with everything.
I'm going to be even more different, and I'm still going to give it to Pedro Porro just because the way he came on, the energy he brought,
fair.
the way the team changed. I think just that was the difference maker. I believe we scored before he came on to get 1-1. But
we scored right at the beginning of the second half.
But he made the team look so much better, and he's just so, you could just tell. I know we can say this about players before who disrespected us, but you could tell he just genuinely loves, like, one, the club, and two, how he's performing. He just loves everything. Like the passion he gives, like even just making a simple tackle straight away, pointing to the badge, like raring at the crowd, just showing that you always want to see in sort of in any football player, no matter what team they play for. But yeah, I'll give it Pedro Porro.
Which is crazy because and we'll transition to the next game, which is crazy because last week when we had Dave on, and for weeks as well, Dave's been mentioning to me like, Pedro Porro, he's injured a lot. He's like, Jovane, should you activate that buyout because it's $8 million? What other team would give you $8 million? And then it's performances like that it's like, holy shit, he's worth it.
I've never once said during this thing that you should not activate the clause, and it's worth activating the clause, man.
The only time I've ever questioned it is like, will we make money back? I think we should activate the clause as well.
Even if we make, I think player. Bro, the worst case scenario I feel like is we make like $2
money
million.
Back.
Buy for 9, sell for 12. Like,
maybe. But seeing performances like this, whether teams are worried about his injury proneness or not, they're gonna shell out money. Sometimes we just forget how good this player is, like Porto. And look at his score right now for today's game. Like Porto's and that goal I seen was nasty.
Yeah, look. Moving on to the BSad game, lineup was followed: Adan, Inacio, Neto, Fidal, Pedro Porro, Nuno Santos, Matias Nunes, Ugarte, for Paulinho, Pedro Gonçalves, and Paulinho. By the way, I don't think we mentioned that Coates has COVID again, apparently, and he's also still with Uruguay. So who knows when he'll be back?
It became less of a sports issue and now more of like an international travel issue.
Yep.
I think isolation is scheduled to finish the day after Famalicão, if I'm correct.
Dude, he's not going to be allowed to travel, dude. My fear is that he's going to be stuck in Uruguay for 2 weeks or longer because he's not. I don't think he has COVID, and I think it's lingering from his previous infection 3 weeks ago. So it's like, what are we waiting for? He doesn't even have it. Like, what are you waiting for him to not have it, bro? When is that going to happen? I don't know.
But you'd think he'd take more tests after he turned positive.
I know, or they should be able to make an exception and figure out the deal. But it's like, he took a PCR test, I think, which is what the problem is.
I could be wrong, but I think traveling to Canada, okay, I know it's a different country. I could be wrong, though. Traveling to Canada, apparently, if you've had COVID within the last 6 months, you don't need to take a test because of this very issue. But I could be misinformed on that. That was an immigrant lady that told me.
We gotta fly him. We gotta fly him to Serbia. You gotta fly him to a country with like no rules, and then drive him in or something.
But the rules might be from Uruguay. Like you can't fly anywhere if you test positive.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, true. So
if I'm being honest, I think there's a bunch of truckers in Ottawa right now in Canada. Protesting Coates is he should be able to fly freely with or without COVID. I stand in that case I stand with the truckers, bro. Let's honk, let's get him home, baby.
What I saw, which was interesting, they were saying that he might have had the Delta variant and now he's got the Omicron variant, which would make sense to why he'd show up.
That's possible too. That's possible too. It could be a reinfection. But bro, if he's reinfected 3 weeks later, that's a blow to the natural immunity boys for sure.
That's a blow to
I think as well, when we first all got COVID the Sporting squad got COVID in 2020 when we played against Aberdeen. I'm pretty sure he was one of them that had it as well. So that's three infections. He's had every single variant possible.
He's collecting them all, dude. It feels like we're due for a new one, bro, doesn't it? I was just thinking that the other day. Yeah. The other one's like 2 months old now. Like I feel like we need a new one now.
where are we guessing this one's coming from? I reckon it's going to be from like a side bit like in Ukraine or Russia.
Oh, it'd be fitting. It'd be fitting right now.
Yeah. But anyway, sidetrack there. But yeah, a 4-1 win against Belenenses. Paulinho got goal points man of the match. 2 goals for him, goal for Porro, and a goal for Sarabia. Chris, what were your overall thoughts on the game?
We were just all over them from the beginning, right from the jump. Like, it was high pressure. It was actually really crazy because you could literally see from the camera angle all the fans that were still filing in all the way through like the 25th minute. And if you filed in the 25th minute, you missed 3 goals, which sucks. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on outside. Late arriving crowd, lack of security to check like tests or whatever. I don't know what the fuck was going on. It probably potentially really. They're used to a crowd of 100. So, you know, when 6,000 traveling fans show up, it overwhelms the staff of 3. I don't know what the deal is. But yeah, it looked like a shit show kind of. And if you missed the goals, that's unlucky. But yeah, we were all over them from the beginning. They did not even really deserve their goal. It was just a banger that kind of changed the course of the game because we were all over them. Early goal, 1-0. Continuing to press, second, like inside 20 minutes, go down 2-0, trouble. And they did score a banger, which kind of like boosted their morale and gave them like an energy boost. And they kind of were able to get like a foothold in the game a little bit for like 10, 15 minutes after they scored. They had another chance. Adan made like a nice save with one hand. Who knows? Maybe that goes in 2-2. And they're low key 2-shot, 2-goal boys, but like they would have had the momentum for sure. But yeah, once those minutes were quelled, and we scored beautiful cross from Nuno Santos to Sarabia on the 3rd goal. Yeah, that was like a really critical moment in the game, I feel like, because right before half to go up 3-1 made it a lot more comfortable, as opposed to, despite dominating, going in 2-1 and feeling like we could be up more, but they're hanging around. When we went up 3-1, in my head I was like, the BSad's they're not coming back from that in the second half, and they didn't come close. It was just a chill game. Got minutes for a lot of guys that don't always get time. BSad came in, Esteves came in like the 50th minute, not taking any risks with Porro, getting him the fuck out of there early. Yeah, and just overall, it was like one of the chiller games in recent memory. So 3 points. Again, another club you love to see in the mud.
Dead last, right?
Dead last.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Danny, what were your overall thoughts on the game?
I'll be brief. I'm the highlight man today. I've only seen bits and pieces because I was stuck at work. But from the pieces I did see, it was all Sporting. Their goal was pretty nice. My only mention is on the celebrations. Loved it. Paulinho scores, decides to kick down a billboard. I don't know if the flag went up or not. Maybe that's why, but decides to kick a billboard. Love that energy. Who scored the second one? They also had a funny celebration that I can't remember now either. Pedro just went crazy. Somebody had a funny celebration afterwards. Maybe it was Sarabia's 3rd.
I think it was Paulinho's
4th.
2nd. Someone gave him a slap in the back of the head, and he turned around like he wanted to like knock them out.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Who it was. I think it was Porro gave him a slap in the back of the head. He just turned around like he wanted to just like knock him out.
Which you love to see. You love to see the unity in this team. So, yeah, nothing else to say. Good win, 4-1. And yeah, long may BSad. Why does goal point still have BSad on there? Which is the biggest thing. BSad.
Wow, what should it say?
BSad. They can't legally. The name isn't BSad, right?
They can't even use that anymore. Yeah.
They can't. Yeah, they can't use BSad anymore. It has to be just BSad. So, or what were their logo? What were their names for a bit? White Sharks or some shit like that.
That's the name of their.
The clock. They're all 3 of them. Yeah, man. Hope to never see you fuckers again. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet as well. Paulinho was like fantastic. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I didn't even mention Edwards, by the way, who had a nice cameo too. Some
Yeah.
sauce off the bench. It would have been cool if he got an assist right immediately. Crowd would have popped off.
Like he had that shot from outside the box as well, which I thought was going in as soon as he left his foot, but just a bit.
Vinag almost scored too, bro. Like this could have been just like a absolute like meme game, you know.
Another 7-1.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be at a point, especially when the fourth one went in, because we had so much time.
Yeah, we just chilled out and just didn't really just pass it around, you know.
Even at the last minute, there was room for Edwards or Tabata to go through on goal, and we just passed it back because they couldn't be bothered. They knew the game was done. But yeah, Paulinho, great game. I'm pretty sure he scored every chance he had. I can't remember off the top of my head. He probably did miss one or two, but the header especially was. I think it was either Chris or you, Danny, said it. It was like Slimani-esque header, like just.
That's not an easy header because the momentum of the ball is actually taking it away from goal, you know, and that is one of my major complaints with him. It feels like he's always fading away on his headers. Mm-hmm. He's never like generating the power and moving into it. He's always like fading away, and that takes all the power out of it. Yeah. So this one, he was fading away a little bit because it was curving away with the right foot. But he was able to get a lot of power behind it still, and it was a great finish. Not easy, like 12 yards out as well. Like that's not an easy header.
That's not. To that same point, how many times have we seen Paulinho try to like guide it in, right? And then it just misses the far corner. Yeah. Whereas this time he's actually like putting oomph behind it. So yeah,
back to where it came from. Textbook.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think like I don't want to jinx it, but I think he's gonna finally start hitting the form.
I didn't feel he's got it's like the Tom Brady. He's got the Jimmy Garoppolo. Like they draft Jimmy Garoppolo, all of a sudden he's like, what? Yeah, he's got a kick. He's got a kick in the ass now for the first time, I guess.
Yeah,
he was just very clinical, and that's really much unlike him. Because like the first pass from Sarabia as well, I thought it was offside. Just because I was like, how did Paulinho get in that much space? But just because it was a good pass, don't get me wrong, but also a great run from Paulinho as well to sort of stay on side. But Vinagre came on, like, I don't know. He was just not very good. He just lost the ball. He couldn't cross properly. He had that shot that
he almost scored. That was his big moment.
Like, he was just not good. Like, I mean, most of the subs that came on didn't really do anything. To be fair, Tabata, I can't remember, had like apart from Marcus Edwards, but like Tabata came in, didn't do much. Braganza didn't have that much burn.
That nice move where he kind of like did the hesitation dribble and then went past the guy and then he took him down.
I think it was a big moment. It was a missed opportunity to sort of match the Benfica 7-1 against BSad. And they have a full team.
We literally beat them 7, or we beat them 8-1 actually, and they had
8-1, yeah.
We should have put
had like 5 goals, or Bruno Fernandes had like 5 goals.
We should have put like the foot on the gas and kept going just to get that goal difference up. But like overall, I just think, like Chris said, I wasn't really worried that when that second goal did go in, I was like, okay, like this could be an issue. But as soon as the third goal went in, I knew it was done. It's pretty much that was it. Then the fourth one just made it even sweeter. But yeah, overall, a good W. I believe that was our first game back after Braga, which was a loss, obviously. So good to get a lot of goals in the team as well, just to give us a bit.
It's last 4. It's lost, win, last 4, right, in the league.
Yeah. Last 4 is win, loss, win, loss. But yeah, I'm just gonna say Paulinho is my man of the match, just off the bat. Danny, who's your man of the match going to be?
Listen, I just want to say, Juicebox Leal is bringing that same energy that you bring towards Thiago Tomas, so I'm with it, bro. I'm with.
Can I just say, I think it was Juicebox.
They're fully professional. These guys are fully professional. Bulnes, where Thiago Tomas scored 2 goals. Those players are literally not fully professional.
I think it was Juicebox that said Luis Felipe was going to score more goals for Santa Clara than Paulinho Sport. I'm sure it was him.
He has one today, exactly, or yesterday, whatever it was.
He scored today. Okay. Oh yeah, you just posted it.
Let's go, Juicebox. I'm with you, bro.
Bro, Castanhos and Luis Felipe and up top, bro. Like, how are you gonna stop that? I didn't even know Luis Felipe scored today. That's fucking awesome, dude. Send us the video.
I go on Instagram and I see Luis Felipe with a post like this, like God is good.
Oh, bro.
You know, my boy's begging them. Let's go,
no
bro.
No one even told me. Fuck. Did they win? Creta?
I don't know. But sorry, what did you ask, Sam? I thought you asked something.
Your man of the match.
Like I said, I didn't watch the match, but I'll give it to Paulinho. 2 goals. But Juice Box, keep the hate going, bro. Sam deserves it.
Chris, who was your man of the match?
My man of the match is gonna have to be. I'll give it to UEFA, man.
Jeez.
3 for Paulinho. I mean, he's coming back, boy. The comeback is on. He's going to be back to his Braga days where he just like scores for fun. But let me just go on quickly before I pass to Chris. Sorry, Danny. Continue.
No, I just said I hope. I hope you're right.
Oh, okay. So next game is against the bogey team Famalicão. I'll zoom in a bit more on the table here so you can see it properly. Porto with 56 points, with 6 points behind on 50. Porto obviously won their last 5 in a row. Just did lose Luis Diaz, I think, about maybe 3 or 4 days ago, and they've played since then, and they won. Also, they got Galeno in. They got the criminal Ruben Semedo in. I'm trying to think. They got someone else. I can't remember.
He's literally a criminal.
Yeah, I mean it suits Porto, like a team full of criminals and a criminal. So. But yeah, next game, like I said, against Famalicão.
Bro, he's gonna get arrested for having a gun at a nightclub.
Someone needs to like plant evidence to make you like go to prison just to fuck Porto up even more. But yeah,
they got someone. Oh, they got Eustáquio. That's who else they got. They got someone else.
Yeah. Yes. Game against Famalicão, bogey team notoriously. We did beat them in the Taça de Liga group stage, I believe. Danny, what are your thoughts on the game? Are you scared or I mean Famalicão, who's got to them 16th, you can see. They've had shocking form really compared to what they should have. What are your overall thoughts and what are your predictions?
My overall thoughts, personally, even though they're Jorge Mendes FC, I would love to see Famalicão still up. Moreirense, I think they'll stay up. Big signing. And I'm not talking about the player. I'm not talking about Morelos. I'm talking about Sapinto. No, I'm kidding. I'm talking about Morelos. A big experience signing there. So maybe that lifts the club up. He hasn't played a game yet with them, right? I think they play tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just quickly check that. But I would love to see Moreirense also stay up. You know, won the Taça de Liga not that long ago. Have a nice connection with Sporting, green and white. You know, Gustinacio. You know, so I would love to see them stay up. Who I think will go down for sure is BSad for sure. I think Aroca don't have enough to stay up. They're just above there.
They got Alan Ruiz in, bro, on deadline day.
They did, and just from that move alone, I hope they go down. They got somebody else though, didn't they? Who else did they get? Or another Sporting legend came back. Was it just Alan Legend came back? Was it just Alan Ruiz?
I think it was just Alan Ruiz. There might be another one that I'm forgetting though.
Anyways, I think Aroca will still go down. How the mighty have fallen, by the way. I do remember not that long ago we were talking about Alan Ruiz's red Ferrari, and now we're talking about him at Aroca. So, but yeah, I think those two are definitely going down. Famalicão might stay in 16th. I hope I don't see them there, but maybe Boa Vista will be in that playoff spot. Moreirense might be there. Any of those 3 teams, I think, have enough to survive it. But if I had to choose who I think and who I want to get relegated, I would say Aroca and BSad.
Cool. And your predictions for the match on Sunday?
Who are we playing again? Vizela?
Famalicão.
Tough match. Sorry, did I just ignore your question entirely and just go with another one?
Sorry,
bro. It's been a long day. I'm exhausted, bro.
No, you're fine.
Famalicão, tough game to play, man. It's always tough against Famalicão. They're our fucking bogey team. The only positive is we're playing them at home, or are we going away? We're playing them at home in Alvalade, I think. I mean, we played away today, so I'd imagine we play them at home. Yeah, a tough team, bogey team. Sporting's in good form. Sporting's confident. I think we slapped them around. I think Amorim really roused the boys up to say this is a statement game.
It's
we
at
have
home,
to
by
win
the
this
way.
game
Sorry.
at home, in front of our fans. Our fans are going to be behind us. 3-0 win. Let me call it now. Paulinho with 1 goal. Juice box. I'm sorry, but I'm with you. Let's keep bashing him because fuck Sam. Sam needs to feel my pain with Thiago Tomás. Just kidding.
Thiago Tomás still hasn't scored a competitive goal since like last January.
Yo, chill
That's
out. Let
all
him
I'm
play.
saying,
Let him
man.
play. Let him play this weekend.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Paulinho with a goal, Marcus Edwards with a goal, and Pot to break the drought.
Chris,
3-0.
what are your predictions for the Macau game?
We're getting a 1-0 dub. We're beating them. I feel like we're turning our form around, and I'm sick of fucking dropping points to these guys. It'll be sus, but a 1-0.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be sort of a 1-0 from like a corner in the 90th minute type of situation, or like 85th, 86th minute we score. I think I'm not saying Fidel always play just against us, but like it seems they do. They just play like against Benfica, against Porto. Actually, I think they were close to tying Porto at one point this season. But
by the way, Famalicão also got back. What's his name from? They loaned them Assunção, exactly. They loaned them to Galatasaray, I think it was. So that's huge for them. That's, I think, a presence in the midfield that they'll be needing. So
what's
maybe
crazy
my 3-0
about that
is too
story?
bold.
I'm not sure if you've seen it, but they gave him back to Famalicão to sign Jedson from Benfica, and they said they let Assunção go back, but then Fernandes chose
the best
Besiktas. Yeah,
and they just loaned them to another Turkish team right now. So
yeah, some random team. That actually, I think it might be the club that Balassi plays for. You know,
Rizespor, I think.
Is that who Balassi plays for? I think.
I don't remember who Balassi plays for.
It's something sport.
All I'm saying is a certain fan base made me believe Jetson was the second coming of Christ.
Yeah, he plays for Rizespor. He does.
And here I am with my dick in my hand. Looking
Number
at,
53.
53. God damn. But yeah, anyways, another golden boy lost in Turkey. It is what it is.
14 apps, 1 goal. 38% of minutes.
Jesus.
And Mourinho picked him over Bruno Fernandes.
That is true.
God
yeah, I'm going to go with a 1-0, and I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go with my original prediction. 1-0, 90th minute off a corner. We'll go Neto, I think. The captain he will be. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I wish your 3-0 would happen, but for some reason, I like those games.
There are
like,
bogey
on the edge of your
teams.
seat. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Like
100%.
A year ago today or yesterday when we beat Benfica, that was more like thrilling for me than we beat them 3-1, just because it was like last minute, Matthews Nunes, bang. And it was just like,
yeah.
But anyway, I digress. Chris, I'll pass it on to you. Do you have any loose ends / modalities to go through?
I mean, I do have a couple loose ends because we didn't get to them on the last pod. I'm just going to, I'll make it quick because I'll just run through the ones that don't require any discussion. And we do tweet a lot. And if you're not on Twitter, sometimes you don't see all these things. So I just feel like these things are of note. FIFA passed a new rule that you can only loan 8 players starting next season, and then 7 the season after, and 6 the season after that. We currently have 8, and academy players don't count to this. We currently have 8 this season. So like in theory, like we're like above what the threshold is. There are clubs like Chelsea and shit that have like 16 or whatever. Like they're really gonna have to figure their shit out. But like it is like a kind of a wake up call, I guess, towards like our endless like loan chain of players. Like just kind of get them sorted, sell them, rescind them. They're just money sucks, you know, at this point. So many of them. Rafael Leon got his appeal rejected, so And it's also he has like taxes on the 16.5 because it's like been unpaid for whatever 6 months or a year at this point. I don't even know, but it's like close to 20 million. Miguel Braga said so. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen with that. Sporting's gonna have to file some sort of like injunction or appeal to try to get Lille to pay that, because like there's no way he's ever gonna
even if he goes to like one of the richest teams in the world, he's not getting that at all.
Or what? Like, let's just say he signs for like City, right? And his salary is like 10 mil gross. What is he gonna do? Give you 2 years of his complete wages and not spend a dime? Like, it's not gonna happen, bro.
There was a case back in the day of a Chelsea player. I think he did like cocaine and it was against a contract, and he had to pay them like 20 million. I can't remember for laughing who it was. I'm gonna try and see if I can Google it. But like he's still paying them to this day, and he's been retired for like 15. Adrian Mutu.
Yeah, bro. I guess they better get him on like the 100K, like a month installment payment or some shit, because
he was let go by Chelsea
like
in
40 years.
2004 for cocaine use, and he's still paying them back from 2004. He doesn't play anymore, obviously, but
yeah,
I mean,
Jesus.
2004. That might just be like in 2040. Rafael Leao still paying Sporting back. So
yeah, literally. Anna Border signed a contract that terminates when she retires, which is interesting and crazy. Not bad, but like certainly interesting. You've seen these types of contracts not that often.
We almost saw it once with Adrian, but then he went on Ujogo or whatever it was, like begging for someone to buy him. So, but yes.
Coates went to Uruguay, obviously didn't play the first game, and then is having a COVID episode, so hope that's resolved and he's not like trapped in Montevideo for like 2 weeks. Montero signed back in Seattle for another year. Some cute little leaks from the Cartão Vermelho archives. So Bruno Musedu was anticipating the fall of Varandas in late 2019, which, to be honest, man, I think a lot of us were. COVID, if you'll remember, there was the massive rally in like February, and then COVID hit, and Amorim came, the momentum changed, and all of a sudden his safety and stature, aided by like the lockdown, kind of brought him to the position he is in now. So that's not that surprising, but it is interesting to see, like, big shots talking like that. And he also encouraged agents to file bankruptcy petitions against Sporting for unpaid dues to try to like almost like further along Varandas' demise. Bruno Musedu is working behind the scenes trying to get the agents to aid the fall of Varandas, which is kind of hilarious. And obviously the main bombshell was, according to Jorge Jesus, at least, in a conversation with Bruno Musedu, he said that Varandas offered him 10 million a year to return, but he wasn't interested in going back to Sporting or Portugal in general for less than he made in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, a year, like 2 months later, he would sign for Benfica for slightly less than he made.
I feel like that story is a lie on his part, but like I don't think did we even have 10 million to give back then? Is the question I'm asking.
Yes, because we literally bought a manager for that much.
Oh yeah, that's fair. But okay, yeah, I thought it was like 20, like when he first got elected, like for Jose Peseiro, not like.
So here's the thing: Jesus doesn't say when, but it doesn't make sense for it to be post Amorim. Like,
yeah.
Because like Amorim never had a bad enough, especially not in that first 6 months. Like, they're not going to replace him. So this was definitely, I'm thinking like January, February. He's starting to feel the heat. Like that was going to be his big move to save himself, bro. Imagine if that went down, dude.
We would be in like 8th right now.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely is a blow to this is a meticulously planned Sporting project, boys. I'll just say that much. It is a lot of luck. And that's That's certainly part of it, bro. You need luck, but like, this could have been a fucking disaster, bro. And this guy could have been just deposed 18 months ago, you know, but he wasn't, and it fucking worked. We just talked about Luis Felipe. He got returned from a loan and went on a new one, which is already off to a better start than the entirety of the previous one. So let's go, bro. This doesn't even feel like it happened recently, but it, I guess it was like a week ago. They were Sporting was like flexing the updates to the parking garage on the official account.
Oh yeah,
which is something that they're not even paying for, and they've literally signed a very suspect lease for. Because if you remember, like the whole parking lot thing, they signed like a 40-year deal for like a total of like $5 million. It's like 160K a year in revenue. Seems very, very low for a fucking critically located parking garage. And I mean, it would have been crazy if we were paying all those renovations and then we're like renting it out for kind of pennies on the dollar. But they're paying for the renovation, so I don't know what that has to do with the club. It got worse today. There's like this article on sporting.com, which I don't know who the fuck is even reading this. Like, if you're reading this article, like in the op-ed pages of Sporting's official website, like you're a sicko. But it's like, the article's literally titled Futuro Verandas. And it's literally like electoral propaganda, like on the official club's website. But it's like, I think it's written by Rogério Alves too. It's like an op-ed, but it's like, who the fuck is even reading this? And let's just say you're the guy that's anti-Verandas, somehow stumbles across this article and now changes his mind. Like, I'd love to meet that guy too. Like, I just don't know. It's just something for people to get mad about, but it is just an idiotic use of the club's official resources. And then there was the UEFA fine gate, which seems to be resolved now. They were threatening Sporting from exclusion from European competitions if they didn't settle the debt with Sampdoria, not Fiorentina, for the Bruno Fernandes deal. Here's what I think happened. I think Sporting has submitted the assignment at 11:59, and the UEFA had their shit together. Like, okay, we gave these 8 clubs notices, and these 3 still haven't paid. So tomorrow we're going to blast out this press release. And then Sporting comes in at 11:59, submits the assignment, and then when the press release goes out at 7 a.m. the next day, it's not taken into account that Sporting came in at 11:59 and paid the last $1.5 million. So that is what I think happened. And then it was like, oh, we already paid. And then it's like a he said, she said. It was a mess that could have been avoided for sure. But I think it's resolved.
Yeah, UEFA confirmed they received the payment.
Yeah, that's definitely what the deal was. But it's just like, what are we doing, man? Feels avoidable. The basketball team all got COVID. Apparently, their game was canceled. They're supposed to begin today, I think, for Europe Cup. Got canceled. We talked about the transfers. Here's an interesting one, but Agansa was sniffed around by Newcastle, and so was Inacio for 30 million, maybe. I don't think any official deal came in, because I think if 30 mil came in on paper, maybe he's not playing today. But
Fabrizio Romano said that there was no official bid.
Yeah, because if there was, I don't think he's here today, to be honest.
Yeah. Sounds like a Newcastle move.
Palinga, so if they got that for Ignacio, they were going to take it, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Tabata as well. Seemed like he was very close to a move to Al Ali as well. Conflicting reports about whether the club accepted an offer. I don't think they did. But then Tabata rejected it.
I think they did. From what I was told.
You think that's true?
Yeah, the only reason I think it's true is because it comes from that Pedro Spalduva, who is.
Why would Tabata really wants to stay that bad?
He accepted the contract offer from Al Hilal 30 minutes before the deadline was supposed to go through, like the deadline for the Saudi window. Yeah. So by the time the paperwork all got filed, it was way past even like an appeal that they were just too late. So it was Tabata. Apparently, the offer had been with Tabata for a few days, and he only decided like the last day. So I think it is true that Sporting accepted, and so did Tabata, which makes me think he's probably gone in the summer anyway.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with Edwards too. It's like, he's definitely less of a role for him. Renan, like, still with no solution. We had a rumor yesterday that Thiago Abreu and his brother on the Porto Academy, Porto B, could be signing for Sporting this summer. Some more through the pipeline. The girls signed an American goalie, so Benfica just signed swag goalie, and we have our own goalie that's American now, just to give our I think our Croatian some competition, and also Ricardo de Oliveira, who we were memeing for saying he was going to announce his presidency for like a month and then never announced it, and then was finally going to announce it, and then got COVID. Finally announced it, bro. He finally announced it. And I think his candidacy, I said it's a joke from the beginning. It seems incredibly unserious. It seems just kind of like a protest campaign and openly just kind of get the name recognition campaign out there.
And on that, quickly, on the elections as well, because I got the email. I'm sure all of you got the email. Just a reminder, if you want to vote, I mean, if you can vote, I don't know.
Is it tomorrow, the deadline?
No, I think it's February 13th. Maybe it is February
3rd.
I think it's the 13th.
I thought it was something with a 3. Yeah.
Make sure to have your cotas like up to date, and then pretty much you're good to vote. Again, I don't know what the process is in terms of us doing it internationally. I guess that's something we need to look into and stuff. Unless you know, Chris, that's something I definitely need to look into.
Ballots. I think we're gonna have to probably request them, but the lists need to be finalized because they need to get like printed. So, Nuno Souza and Verandas finalized their list today. I think Oliveira's finishing his paperwork today. So I'm thinking we're going to need to have to request them into early next week.
Yeah. So for all our fellow international Leões and Sócios, let's get those cotas paga, regardless of who you're voting for, and let's take some of that right, that we have. We pay quotes every month. Why not, right? If it counts or not to the end of the vote, I have no idea what to tell you, but it seems symbolic.
Yeah, definitely. That Victor Oliveira quote. Sorry, I can't remember if that was his actual name, but he basically was just like his old campaign is just life after Amorim, which isn't a campaign because like everyone knows that that's going to be the case. Like everyone,
toughest thing,
yeah. But like,
if you don't have any ideas yourself, you're not putting any ideas forward yourself. You're just obviously that's a concern, bro. That's a concern. It should be like a pillar of your campaign, but it can't be the whole thing.
And even in that sense, it's like, okay, life after Amorim, but I mean, unless we're like expecting to lose him this summer, it's not like we can, really put down a perfect solution, because I'm assuming, at least as a president, the best sort of thing to say, like after Ruben Amorim, our target is going to be like Leonardo Jardim, but who's going to know in like 2 years? Let's say Amorim stays. In 2 years, will Jardim be available? If he leaves this summer, is Jardim going to be available? It's shit like that. It's like it's tough to call, I guess. Even I understand the campaign, but
I almost feel like the presidential election. It's just like at the end of the day, so many of these sporting decisions come down to like a combination of like who you're financing your transactions through and luck. Like life after Amorim, like that can't be the central theme of your campaign. Like the central theme of your campaign has to be like expanding voting to the nucleus. It has to be having more transparency in terms of like the following the statutes and stuff like that. Like
transfer policy.
It has to be stuff. So it has to be stuff that you can do tomorrow, bro. Like stuff that you is within. Like whether or not Marcus Edwards' potential pans out has nothing to do with you at the end of the day.
Yep.
All you can do is buy players that you think like have the right potential, and then like build
sell wisely
and like build an environment that they can grow in. Like just the Cold War with the fans is it's still existing silently. Still, literally a Cold War, right? It's like the perfect analogy. The relationship with the fans. It's just like it's stupid. It's not sustainable. It's like, bro, without the fans, none of this exists. It just seems antithetical to the whole point of anything.
Yeah.
And I want him to change course. I just see so much room for growth for him if he changes course. But he's in his way. He's in his mentality. He's getting results the way he's doing it right now. So I do not see why he would change it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that wraps up everything. Nearly coming in at 2 hours podcast. A very long one, but also a very informative one. A lot of stuff.
Back. Sorry.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Back-to-back 2-hour pods.
Yeah. I mean, we're out here. We're out here giving you the content. Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll call it there. Not much to think of off the top of my head. If you want to follow us all on Twitter, feel free to. You can follow Chris here. You can follow Danny here. And you can follow me here. And also make sure to follow Sporting160EN on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Again, TikTok OnlyFans coming soon. But other than that, appreciate you all for coming and hope you have a good one. See ya.